At the end of Moonlight Street, the long shadows of sunset hit the pavement just as Jake and Emily reach the edge of the village. Jake leads the way toward a storefront that has remained undisturbed for decades, while Emily keeps her bike angled toward the road, ready to leave. For Jake, the boarded-up shop represents an opportunity for a unique discovery. He views the isolation of the building as a barrier that has preserved something valuable, rather than a warning to stay away. Emily points to the structural decay, the warped wood, and the 20-year accumulation of dust. She argues that the physical dangers of an unmaintained building outweigh any curiosity about what might be left inside. As they cross the threshold, the air temperature drops. The space is thick with dry rot and fine dust, with heavy spiderwebs stretching from the ceiling to the rows of empty shelves. Resting on a central chair is a porcelain doll that appears far too well preserved for its surroundings. It features a smile of unnatural symmetry, a design choice that creates an immediate sense of wrongness in a room defined by decay. A sharp, high-pitched giggle cuts through the silence of the shop. Without looking for the source, the children immediately turn and sprint back toward the light of the street. By entering the shop, the children provided a bridge. The entity inside required a new set of observers to interact with, and their intrusion allowed it to transition from a localized haunting to a mobile threat. The entity demonstrates it is no longer bound to the shop. When Jake enters his bedroom later that evening, the porcelain doll is already there, sitting on his desk. The doll's role has changed from a static object to an active participant. It speaks directly to them, using the giggle from the shop to establish a terrifyingly familiar presence in a supposedly safe space. Emily discovers an old diary in the room that identifies this process as spiritual displacement. It describes how a consciousness can be forcefully moved from one physical anchor to another. The diary traces this to Mr. Hollow. To escape death, he compressed his spirit into energy, forcing it into the doll. This provides fragile stability. It must maintain the illusion of its form. If forced to see its true, formless state, the shell fails. The room reacts to the discovery of these secrets. Shadows stretch toward the diary, and the air grows heavy, signaling that the entity is aware its operational rules have been found. This displacement acts as a predatory cycle. The entity feeds on the specific fear generated by its presence, using that energy to strengthen its physical influence over the children's environment. At precisely midnight, the bedroom's electrical system fails. The sudden loss of light removes the children's ability to monitor the doll's movements. The doll announces the start of a game it calls Hide and Scream. The playful name contradicts the immediate threat as the room begins to physically change around them. Every exit in the room seals. The windows and door become immovable, turning the bedroom into a pressurized chamber where the children are completely isolated. The doll levitates into the center of the room, its eyes glowing as it exerts full control over the local environment. Gravity fluctuates, causing books and furniture to drift into the air, creating a disorienting, three-dimensional obstacle course. Following the rules of the game leads to certain victimization. To survive, the children must find a way to break the entity's hold on the physical space by targeting the vessel itself. Recalling the diary's note about the spirit's reliance on its porcelain illusion, Jake looks for a way to force the entity to confront its own formless energy. Emily positions a hand mirror directly in front of the doll's face. This forces the spirit to see its reflection, not as a doll, but as the volatile mass of energy trapped within. The feedback from the reflection shatters the anchor. Unable to reconcile its formless reality with the doll's fixed shape, the dark energy violently expands, tearing itself out of the porcelain shell. The shadow dissipates, and the room returns to normal. The kids dispose of the now static porcelain fragments, believing that destroying the vessel has ended the cycle. The following morning, the resolution proves false. When they look at the shelf in the room, the doll is there, fully repaired and staring out from the dark. Breaking a physical vessel does not banish the intelligence that inhabited it. The entity has simply moved to a more personal location, proving that outsmarting the object is not the same as breaking the displacement.